So, you're thinking of buying a house, huh? Well, in this video, I'm gonna talk about what it takes to purchase a house, what it's like getting pre-approved, what it's like putting an offer in, how do you know whether it's worth your time to look at a property, and what it's like while you're under contract. So, number one, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get pre-approved, unless you're paying cash. Now, getting pre-approved means that you're gonna go to different lenders. Now, during that pre-approval process, a lender is going to ask for a credit check, they're gonna check your finances, they're gonna go over your assets, they're gonna kind of dive deep into your financial situation to see exactly what and how much you can purchase. And there's different options, there's different ways to get a higher purchase amount, and that's through buying the rate down, putting more money down. There's a lot of options, but if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out to a lender. But while you get pre-approved, that pre-approval letter is going to last you up to 90 days. After that 90 days, your pre-approval will expire. Now, I don't know if you know this, but in that first 30 days, you can get pre-approved by as many lenders as you want, with your credit only getting hit once. So that's a good time to go around and kind of shop, see who gives the best rate, see who can give you the most purchase power. It's a great time to shop. It's almost like buying a car, right? You want to test drive a bunch of cars before you just buy one. Now, number two, after you get pre-approved, then you're gonna start looking at houses. All right, so I'm pre-approved up to 700,000, right? So I'm gonna start looking at houses between the $650,000 or $600,000 range up to $750,000. Now that the market's beginning to somewhat shift, buyers are able to negotiate more. Now, another question that I get asked a lot is, how do I know if my time is worth looking at this house? Well, I always tell people, if this house meets 8 out of 10 of your criteria, it's definitely something to look at and definitely something to consider, because it's really hard to find that perfect house out there. And not everything is set in stone. So if there's carpet in a bathroom or something like that, that's easy to redo, really easy. So that's why I would say, if it's 8 out of your 10 criteria, then it's something definitely to take a look at. Now, when you do find that perfect property and you're like, hey, this is the one, right? What's the next step? The next step is to write an offer. And there's a lot of different ways you can write an offer. You can put big binder deposits down, you can put little money down, you can ask for the seller to pay some of your closing costs. There's so many ways to do it. And like I said, now that the market's shifting, buyers are able to negotiate a lot more. Whereas before, all I heard was like a parrot, highest and best. So it's actually good now that we can do our job as realtors. We can negotiate. Now, a strong offer, when I write offers, I like to write really strong offers. So say you're a cash deal, right? And the house is listed at $750,000. It's been on the market for 2 weeks, but you don't want to pay $750,000, right? Say you want to go to $700,000. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a super strong offer. And in that offer, I'm going to put a huge binder deposit, a quick inspection period, and a quick closing with minimal contingencies. Because what's going to happen is, once that seller's agent presents the offer to the seller, they're going to say, hey, there's little to no risk, in the sense that the buyer has minimal contingencies and won't really back out. Now, if you're financing, you're going to have more contingencies. You're going to have an appraisal contingency. You're going to have a loan commitment period. So you're going to have different contingencies that'll allow you to back out, or allow you to back out of the deal if something doesn't go right or if something goes wrong. Now, and that goes into how do I back out of a deal? Right? If something comes up last second, or you find a house that you like even more, how do I back out, right? Well, the way you can back out without losing your binder or with minimal risk of losing your binder deposit is during that inspection or due diligence period, which is around 7 to 15 days depending on what you put on the contract. Now, if you're financing or if there's an HOA, things like that, you could also back out of the contract that way, right? So if the HOA doesn't approve you, if you have it written in the contract that says this contract or this offer is contingent upon HOA approval, then you can get out of the contract with little risk of losing your binder. Now, if you're past that inspection period and you're not in an HOA or you don't have any financing contingencies, it's really, really hard to get your binder back. Now, there might be some loopholes depending on what the situation looks like, but your binder is more at risk at that point. So then at that point, you do have that inspection period or that due diligence period. And during that period, you're gonna have an inspection. So you're gonna have an inspector coming in the house. The inspector is gonna do a full report on the house. If there's termites, if there's any bugs, if there's any rodents, if there's rot, if there's something wrong with the roof, leaks, whatever the case may be, the inspector's gonna find it for you. And during that point, you can also go back to the seller and say, hey, we didn't know about this. We didn't know that there was a leaky roof. We want $5,000 back, right? So you can take $5,000 off the purchase price. There's so many options. Even while you're under contract, you can still negotiate the purchase price down. You can negotiate any repairs. There's still a lot of negotiating that can be done while under contract. And say you have an appraisal, right? You're getting a mortgage, you're offering $700,000, and the appraiser comes back and says, hey, it's only worth $650,000, and you don't have an appraisal gap. Well, then you go back to the seller and say, hey, the bank won't give me $700,000. We need to come down on the purchase price because I don't have the cash for that. You still can negotiate the purchase price down. Now you can meet somewhere in the middle. If the seller wants, they can come down to $650,000. I mean, there's so many options. And after that point, once you pass all the contingencies, that's when you close. And when you close, that means you purchased a new house. If you have any questions or any concerns, or even thought about selling or buying, my phone number is linked down below, so give me a call. I'd love to chat.